All right, look, I love cars. I live for this. But there are some myths that just refuse to die. Like, no matter how much proof we got, people will fight you at a gas station about this stuff. So today, I'm laying it all out. Fair, but real. 8 car engine myths we need to finally retire. Let's talk about it. All right, let's set the record straight. Yes, premium gas does have real benefits, but only for engines that are actually built for it. We're talking turbocharged beasts, high-compression sports cars, luxury rides that are tuned to squeeze every bit of performance out of every drop of fuel. These engines need that higher octane rating to prevent knocking, pinging, and all kinds of ugly combustion drama under the hood. That's facts. But, and it's a big but, if you're rolling around in something like a Honda Civic, Toyota Camry, or any normal daily driver that's tuned for regular 87 octane, dumping 93 octane in there is basically tossing extra dollars into the gas pump just to feel fancy. You're not unlocking some hidden turbo mode. You're not getting secret horsepower. You're not impressing the engine gods. You're just spending more money for gas that your car doesn't even know how to appreciate. Man, I don't know where this V6 hate started, but it needs to stop. Some people act like, unless you've got a V8 under the hood, you're driving a glorified lawnmower. Look, yeah, V8s sound god tier. They pull like crazy, and the culture around them is legendary. Mad respect. But modern V6s are absolute monsters in their own right. Turbocharged V6s, especially, are putting in work. Take the Ford F-150 Raptor, 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6, 450 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque. That's more torque than a lot of V8 trucks from just a few years ago. Even supercars like the Ford GT flex a V6, and nobody's calling that slow. Yes, technically, cooler, denser air can help combustion and give your engine a little extra pep in its step. It's basic science. More oxygen equals better burn equals more boom boom under the hood. But here's the catch. Unless your entire setup is dialed in perfectly, you're probably squeezing out like 5 to 10 horsepower. Maximum. Not 50. Not 100. Not bro. I gapped a Hellcat on the freeway numbers. A cold air intake is one tiny piece of the performance puzzle, not a magic wand that's going to turn your Accord into a GTR overnight. Back in the day, and I mean way back, when engines were clunky, manufacturing tolerances were sloppy, and oil tech was basically dinosaur juice with food coloring, yeah, changing your oil every 3,000 miles made sense. You had no choice unless you wanted your engine to start eating itself alive. But today, modern synthetic oils are built different. They're basically liquid engineering flexing in your crankcase. Most cars now are designed to run smooth as butter all the way to 7,500 miles, no problem. Some can even push 10,000 plus miles between oil changes if you're using quality stuff and not out here treating your car like a getaway vehicle in Fast and Furious. Now, if you're beating on your ride, hitting track days, towing heavy loads, living where it's hotter than Iran's Lut Desert or colder than Vostok Station, yeah, you should be changing it more often. That's called being smart. But for the 90% of people just daily driving, commuting, chilling, vibing, every 3,000 miles is just lighting your money on fire for no reason. It's outdated advice pushed by shops that make bank off your paranoia. Here's your move. Check your owner's manual. Not what Larry at Jiffy Lube mumbles while trying to upsell you cabin air filters. Follow the manual. That's the real gospel. The people who built your car know better than some dude with an oil-stained name tag. Save your cash. Spend it on mods, tires, better gas, or literally anything else that actually matters. If you're just slapping on a loud muffler or going straight pipe to make your car sound like a monster truck on steroids, that's 99% noise and 1% power. If that, you're not getting any real performance gains, just waking up the entire neighborhood and giving your neighbors PTSD every time you rev it. Here's the kicker. Noise tricks your brain into thinking something is faster than it actually is. That's real. You hear a loud car, and you immediately assume it's a high-performance beast, right? The psychological effect is like a shortcut your brain takes. Louder car equals faster car. But in reality, the performance gain from just adding noise is basically non-existent. Take that WRX you hear screaming down the street like a banshee. It probably still has around 240 horsepower. Sounds fast because your ears are bleeding, not because it's actually setting any records. It's like putting a giant spoiler on a Corolla. Looks fast, sounds fast, but in the end, it's just a Corolla. Back in the carburetor days, yeah, you needed to warm up your car before you drove it, or it'd stall out on you like an angry toddler. The fuel-air mix needed time to get to the right balance, and the engine had to literally warm up before it could do its thing. That was a real issue. Fast forward to today, though. Modern engines are built different. They're designed to start up and drive almost immediately without skipping a beat. We're talking computers, fuel injectors, and everything being dialed in to make sure your car is good to go from the jump. No more sitting there, idling like you're waiting for your car to stretch its legs. Look, I love driving manual. There's something about it that just hits different. But let's be real for a second. When we're talking pure speed, modern automatics, especially dual-clutch transmissions, DCTs, are out here straight up flexing. They shift way faster than human hands ever could. These DCTs are engineered to perform, and they're way ahead of anything your clutch foot can do. Watching an engine swap time-lapse looks like it's just 3 bolts, 1 prayer, and boom, 1,000 horsepower magically appears. Looks easy, right? Like you're just clicking together some Lego pieces, and then bam, your car is a beast. Reality check. Engine swaps are absolutely insane. You're talking about hours, days, sometimes weeks of work. It's not just a simple bolt-on job. You're diving into fabrication, electrical wiring nightmares that look like you need a PhD to navigate, and don't forget the emotional damage. You'll question your life choices about 12 times before it's over. Yeah, there are easy swaps, like sticking a Honda engine into another Honda or swapping a Miata engine into another Miata. It's never truly as easy as the YouTube videos make it look. But if you're doing something wild, like slapping an LS into a 240SX or a K24 into a BRZ, expect pain, a lot of it. You're basically signing up for an emotional roller coaster of frustration, trial and error, and a whole bunch of WTF was I thinking moments. Is it worth it? Sometimes. If you love the grind, if you're a glutton for punishment, or if you really just want to say, yeah, I built this. But easy? Nah, it's far from it. Don't let anyone fool you into thinking it's a walk in the park. At the end of the day, you do you. Cars are personal, they're emotional, they're sometimes irrational. But if you're going to argue in the comments, at least argue with facts, not fairy tales. Smash that like if you learned something today. Drop your favorite car myth you're tired of hearing. And if you're still thinking a cold air intake makes you beat a Ferrari, I'm praying for you, bro. Catch you next time.